Welcome back to another episode of Baxter's Buzz. I am your host, Baxter E. Hall. Today, I have a special guest with me, um, co-founder of CNT 413, Travis Wilder. How you doing, Trav?
What's up, Bax? I'm good, man. Blessed, bro. How you been, man?
Real good, man. It's been, we were just kind of talking off air. It's been about at least 8 or 9 years since we last kind of chopped it up. And you've been doing so much since then. I want to hear about the your entrepreneurial journey and all that. But just first of all, it's good to see you, bro.
Man, thank you, man. It's good to be seen, man. And you too.
Yeah,
We Bax coming from our background, man. Our high school, we lost a lot of brothers, man, that was our age. Um, I was talking about it with Gerald like a couple weeks back, man. We was just naming like a lot of our peers, man, that we lost. And so it's definitely a blessing, man. The older we get, I definitely don't take, waking up for granted. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm I'm
yeah.
I'm,
No,
I'm happy we're here, man.
nah, man. Yeah, like you said, it's happy to be seen and it's happy to be productive members of society, man.
Facts.
So first of all, tell me what you tell me about CNT 413, how it came about, and then we'll kind of go back. I want to ask you about just your whole sort of journey as far as being an entrepreneur. But tell me about CNT 413.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So like I said, man, off the air back in 2013. Well, let me rewind all the way back. So after high school, I went off to college, and I would come back in the summer, and Corn, Coach McNeil nephew, Cornell man, he would train me, and we kind of created a bond, like a brotherhood. He would train me, we would kick it, he would give me life lessons, and he actually was one of the reasons that I went to Elmira College in New York. That was his first coaching gig. He was assistant coach,
Okay.
and so he got them, to really my senior year. Coach Donnelly, my college coach, he came in. He came to like three of our games. He recruited me real heavy. So me and Corin, we created that bond, and with that bond, man, we always talked about entrepreneurial endeavors and ventures we can get into. And so at first we really didn't know what we wanted to do, but we knew we wanted to create an LLC. And so we created CNT 413, and it literally stands for Cornell and Travis. And then 413 comes from both of our favorite Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. So that's the background of the name. After we created that, um, our first venture was called, or still is, Spiritual Sports Socks, spiritualsportsocks.com. It's basically a custom sock brand. We put high definition pictures on socks. We can put Bible verses on socks. We can put literally anything you want on socks. We can do. And so we launched that in 2015, and then just this past May, we added the God Got Me brand, um, full apparel line. God got me to our repertoire, and we own 7 trademarks, and we got some other stuff that we're working on to down the pipeline as well. So
Dope, dope. Let me just say, Corn, man. Shout out to Corn. Corn is like one of the best people around. You know,
facts.
and I don't know him as well as you, but we grew up in the same neighborhood, and whenever I see him, it's always the same energy.
Yeah,
He always smiling, just a good, solid dude, man. And
yeah,
so I didn't know initially that all the other venture, the spiritual sports socks, was that Corn was a part of it, but that make a lot of sense. That make a lot of sense. Shout out to Corn, man.
absolutely great guy, backs. And like I said, the older I got, and we bonded even more and became closer. Like he was in my wedding too. You probably didn't know that.
Okay, wow, yeah,
Yeah, so that go to show you how close we are. But yeah, man, just a good dude, man. He'll help anybody, man. Like he's just a stand up guy, man. And he's really like a big brother figure to me. And yeah, great dude, man.
I've heard this quote. I feel like I've heard it several times, but where people say, "I don't want to just get money with somebody that wants to get money. I want to get money with someone who wants to get money with me."
Yep,
Right?
yep,
sometimes relationships and business doesn't mix. Like, how do you guys kind of figure that piece of it out? And have you had any sort of rocky moments where like just differences of opinion as far as the direction of the company?
Actually, we haven't backed. I mean, we bounce things. First off, we set guidelines for our company, and one of our main, I would say, principles is we're not in business to make money. We're in business to make a difference and an impact, and the money will come. And that's one of the principles that Corn and I both kind of live by. And when I worked early on in my career, when I worked at Quicken Loans, that's one of the things I learned from Dan Gilbert. He has these 20 like pillars of his company, and one of them is numbers and money don't lead, they follow. So I've always kind of ran my life like that, man. You do the right things, work hard, um, you grind, the money gonna come. Just focus on the product and making a difference and an impact. And when you do those things the right way, man, and don't take no shortcuts, the money gonna come. You're gonna be blessed, man. It's just, So we always talk about it, man. We know the money gonna come. We just gonna continue to make quality products, continue to be stand-up people, stand behind our brand, and just represent it in a good way. And so money's never really even been an issue with us, man.
Yeah, no, that's dope. I shouted you guys out on a couple of episodes. Water Sweatshirt. Although you and I hadn't talked, I saw what you guys were doing. I just wanted to be a part of it and support.
Appreciate that, man.
My 7-year-old, literally this week, she said, "This guy do they just have sweatshirts?" and I'm like, "What did you say?" And she said, "Guy got me. Do they just make sweatshirts?" And I said, "No." And then I said, "Oh, do you want something?" I'm like, okay, so it's working in the house,
That's
the
what's
brand
up, man.
recognition when they let us outside, maybe
Man.
some other folks will see.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, but quality stuff, man, and
Appreciate
looking
it,
forward
brother.
to continue to support. So you mentioned Quicken. There's a lot of people in this space, Trav, where they are in corporate America and they're venturing out, right? They may not be as far along as you right now, but they're trying to figure out kind of what's next, right? And they're dipping their toe into ownership, entrepreneurship. Tell me when it became important to you, and then how have you maintained that balance between like your sort of 9 to 5, right, and then this venture that, of course, you would love for it to become your 9 to 5 eventually. Like, talk about the balance and sort of what led you down this path to begin with.
Yeah, I would say, man, entrepreneurial bug has kind of always been in me. My parents, they're both entrepreneurs. My dad, like back when we were in high school and even when I was in college, my dad, man, he was real big real estate investor. Like I remember my dad having like close to 10 houses at once. Would do our repairs himself. Um, and so I kind of watched him, just how he managed them, how he talked to people, talked to his tenants. And then my mother, she's an ordained minister. So she has her own church. She acquired her ministry in the year 2000.
Okay.
And so obviously a church, I mean, it's ran like a business. I mean, you still have, bills to pay, you got stuff to manage, you got payroll, all that type of stuff. And so I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And then it got important to me, I would say around 2010. I graduated college in 2004. So I was in the corporate world for about 6 years, and I just knew that some things that happened back, I got passed up on a couple of promotions. I mean, I'm sure we can all, attest to that, some things that we didn't think that was fair. And it's like, if I can take control of ownership, then I won't have to answer to nobody but myself. I won't even have to worry about that. And then I can teach people what to do, what not to do when I start hiring people onto my staff. So, and then I just, I look at my son. I got a little boy. I think our son's about the same age. My son is 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
my son he'll be 5 in April.
okay, yeah. So, I look at him back, young black man in America, and just the climate, man. I just don't want him to have to, take the traditional route if he doesn't want to. Like, I'm not, I love college. I love my college experience, but I am a firm believer that college isn't for everybody. Like, if my son wants to go into the trade, he can do that. Or if I find out that he wants to go the entrepreneurial route, I'm gonna kind of steer him that way earlier. Like right now, he loves cars. So if I see the older he gets, he wants to be an engineer, I'm gonna start gearing him towards that. You know what I mean? And kind of just help guide him, man. And just let him know ownership is the way to go. Like ownership, man. If you own your stuff, you don't have to worry about nobody taking it. You're in control. You kind of control your own destiny.
Yeah.
And I got that from my dad, man. When I graduated, I started working. I was like, cool, man. I got out of college, got a good job. I was making a good salary. I told my dad, like, I'm ready to buy my own house. He was like, nope. He's like, nope. You're going to stay with me and your mom for 2 years. You're going to stack your bread. No, I'm sorry, Bax. I was about to get my own apartment. And he was like, nope. You're going to stack your bread for 2 years. You're going to buy your first house you're going to own. So, like, I've never rented, and that's a principle that my dad kind of instilled in me earlier. And I'm going to do the same with my son. And that's just a small nugget, but it taught me, he was teaching me about owning versus renting. Now, and I'm not against renting, it's sometimes we have to rent.
Right.
But he kind of instilled that ownership in me and acquiring assets early. And so I'm gonna pass that down to my son. And so yeah, man, just ownership is key to me, man. Like it's you control your destiny when you own stuff.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome story. The guys and I, we've done we've had some conversations about manhood, fatherhood, recently, and it's just cool to hear that the good stuff that that we've learned, that we're passing, because it's so important.
Yeah.
That's how you keep traditions going. That's how you build legacy, man. So
Absolutely.
kudos to you. So you want to do something, you're just not sure what. I imagine at one point you you thought about potentially real estate, right? I'm sure, because your pops, right?
Yeah.
And then, is that something you're dipping your toe in, or did you decide against? Like, how did you get to where you are now?
So yeah, so initially Bax. So on the flip side of me seeing my dad, manage his properties and acquire money and cash flow and stuff, I did see the bad sides of that too. I saw some of his tenants not paying the rent on time. He have to cover the mortgage and he have to. So it kind of did turn me off. So at first I was like, man, I don't think I want to do that, But I did eventually, when I met my wife, I owned my condo in Southfield. I owned it outright. I owned it free and clear. And so instead of selling it, I was like, this is a good asset to have. Once I met my wife, we bought our house. So we rented that out. So I do have one rental property.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, my tenant, she's amazing, man. So she's been there now 6 years. So, but I haven't dipped back off into it. Me and Corin talking about some commercial property type stuff.
Okay.
So we kind of been focusing on that lane, just to kind of have a tangible building where we can house our equipment and then eventually get a retail space, once this coronavirus stuff is over. The ideal is to take advantage if the market, allows for it, to get a cheaper commercial property.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, my dad, I think that was his lane, man. He was definitely gifted with it. He still owns 2, 3 properties to this day.
Okay.
And but yeah, so
you got the one, but you said, that's not really what I want to do. Talk about spiritual sports socks, and then sort of the evolution of that, and then this Guy Got Me brand that is selling like hotcakes right now.
Yeah, man. So spiritual sports socks back. So the idea actually came with my sophomore year in college. I actually had a dream, and in the dream, it was clear, man. It was I saw socks, and then I just saw sports, and then I saw like the logo, and I didn't really know what it meant. You know what I mean? I kind of just woke up, didn't write it down, kind of said like, dang, that's weird, whatever. Fast forward, when I graduated in 2004, I came home. Um, I had the same dream, but this time it was more clear. It was like, me actually making the socks, me putting Bible scriptures on them. And so it was at that point, and this was after me and Corn had started the LLC.
Okay.
And then so I shared it with him, and I was like, hey man, let's start a sock company. You know what I mean? So I started the research. Um, you know, Corn, like, he invested up front. I did most of the legwork in terms of, getting the trademark, talking to manufacturers over in China, and then actually starting the process of producing them ourselves. And we launched that. It started going well. And then we always had God Got Me brand on the back burner. And then we just didn't know when we wanted to drop it. So, we were talking. We was like, man, this pandemic came about this year. Like, what better time now than to send out this message that God got us? Because we're going through this worldwide pandemic. A lot of people losing hope, and more importantly, losing lives, man. So we was like, hey, let's drop it. It was kind of like, boom, like, let's just do it. Like, this is the time to do it. Let's do it. We want to try to give some hope, give people faith that everything gonna be all right. This pandemic not gonna last always. And that's how we did it, man.
Wow.
Yep.
And talk about so before we get into God Got Me and the success that you're seeing right away, talk about the importance of like knowing your role, like knowing your lane. You have a partner, right, who doesn't have the availability to do some of that stuff, and maybe not even his interest to begin with. Right. You have a skill set. Talk about the importance of sort of adding people to your team that sort of complement what you do, and it's not, we don't have the same blind spots. I can cover your back because I'm looking at things from a particular perspective, and vice versa. Like, talk about how important that is.
Yeah, it's real important, back. Like, Corn, by me being so hands-on, like I'm producing the products, I'm packaging the products, I'm handling customer service, doing shipping and handling, you know what I mean? I'm doing literally all of the day-to-day, and Corn, he kind of critiques it and let me know some things that he sees. And so we balance each other real well. He'll bounce an idea off, I'll send him a design. He'll be like, tweak it a little bit this way, or look at that, where I can't see, because I'm so right in the trenches. I'm just so engraved in it.
Yeah.
It's like, I just design the stuff and I'm ready to put it out. So I shoot it to him. He's like, no, I'll do this tweak draft. And so yeah, man, and we ask for a lot of feedback. Like, we have a lot of like professional people, like kind of in our network, and they give us good feedback. And another thing Corn and I are good at, man, is just taking constructive criticism. Even with life, we don't just talk about business when we talk every day. We talk about life situations. Corn, he asked my opinion on, defensive coverages that they played in the game the night before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk about basketball. We talk about relationship stuff. We talk about God. We talk about. So I think, that's the main ingredient for having a business partner or building your team. You want somebody who has your best interest at heart, and y'all have a relationship outside of the business world.
Yeah. And then, like, you talk about your networking. You have a strong network. Do you have any mentors?
Yeah, yep. One of my guys, Kool-Aid, Anthony Temple, him and his wife Melody, they have a store in Royal Oak. They have their own brand called AYV, and they have a brick and mortar and they're online as well. So Kool-Aid, man, he's been real instrumental in just teaching me the game, manufacturing, marketing, branding, and just day to day running the business. So I got a lot. I definitely got to shout him out. Um, Actually, Tiana, I met with Tiana before. This was a couple years back. I was rebranding the Spiritual Sports Socks. Like I changed my logo up, and I met with Tiana, man, and she gave me a lot of great nuggets. And shout out to her. I'm definitely, as I'm building this brand, I told her I'm gonna definitely get with her down the line, and I like to like bring her on full time to where she can be like my marketing person, because she's awesome, man. And I know you probably know that, but she really got a gift with her craft on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So wait a second. So Kool-Aid is in the apparel business as well, and you guys can actually work together.
Yeah. You know Kool-Aid?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm emphasizing the fact that $1 in my pocket doesn't take $1 out of your pocket.
Absolutely, back. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
But sometimes that's the feeling, and people don't coordinate, they don't collaborate, and they don't want to help each other out, right?
Yep. I've experienced it, back. It's funny you brought that up. I went to I ain't naming no names, but kind of a big brand out of Detroit, man, and I went there and just asked how we could collab on some stuff, and just never heard back, and I don't know if that's the reason, because whatever, but so yeah, man, it's rare that you find people that are willing to help, and for the fear of, like you said, of taking $1 out of your pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, and I'm totally not like that, man. If a young person come to me, that's the first thing that came to my mind when you told me what you got going on and what your group have coming down the pipeline. Because I'm sure it's gonna be a young person coming out of Ferndale High School or whatever in the neighborhood who wants to start a clothing brand.
Right.
I have no problem, man, sitting down or emailing them a list of my resources. I mean, because we're blessed to be a blessing, man.
Right.
The older I get, I live by that.
Yeah.
If I can help somebody, why wouldn't I?
That's right. That's right. And there needs to be more of that, especially when we talk about ownership. Us in the Black community, we may not have a pops like your pops, Trav, right?
Exactly.
So we need you to impart that wisdom, Corn, and the rest of the folks that are doing it, to provide that exposure and things to look for, and the ups and downs of it, right? So, a lot of it just comes down to just not just resources, but just exposure on the front end.
That's it.
Even though it's a possibility, right?
Yeah. That's it, Mac.
Yeah. So so the pandemic hits, and you guys say, all right, maybe this is the time. Let's get this Guy Got Me brand going, and let it be a message, right? That, like you said, that confirmation that in the midst of all this, God got us, right? And that this will pass. It feels like it's been the longest year ever, but tell me, like, when you guys started to launch it, and then kind of, how it's been taken off since then.
Yeah. So Max, we talked, so we launched the site in May, and let me see, January 26th, right? That's when Kobe Bryant died.
Mm-hmm.
I never forget. I just came in from church, phone blowing up, and then it seemed like from that day that he died, back, it was a domino effect, man. That's when everything just started to kind of go downhill, right? And so, my birthday was February 5th. I went to the All-Star weekend, Valentine's weekend, and then that's when the height of it started to, it really just took off. Like, cases were increasing. And so it was like Corey and I, we were talking, and it was like, man, you know what? Let's just make a couple shirts. You know, let's just get a couple. So when we initially launched, we just had the black shirts with the white logo and the white shirts with the black logo. Like, let's just do a little soft launch. Like, boom. And we launched, I think we ordered 100 of each. And the boys, they sold out in days, like 4 days.
Wow.
Minimal marketing, it was like, boom, this the message. And then I don't know if you saw Corn and I did like a launch video. I mean, yeah, it was like a launch, like a promotional video. We did like a small interview. I don't know. I'll send you the video if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But we really talked about the brand, why we started it. So we blasted that out there. I did a couple Facebook ads, and then it was just the orders was coming in, man. And then I was like, okay, like this was the right time to do it. And then we started expanding the brand, added a couple more colors in the t-shirts. Then in the when it started getting cooler, we added the hoodies. As you know, you got the hoodie. I'm dropping a new color this week. We're gonna drop a new color, and then we got the beanies coming. So yeah, back to just, man, mostly, man, just prayer, and then just the thought of, we just wanted to push faith, man, and push hope, because a lot of people, man, like I just buried one of my aunts. I just buried her last week, and I just told my family at the funeral, God got us, man. We're gonna be all right. Like it was her time. This storm not gonna last always. So that's really what the brand is about, man. Just hope, pushing faith. And then back when we're pushing stuff like that, man, the stuff of God, you really don't feel like you're selling anything.
Right.
Because this is stuff we should be promoting anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I make a post, somebody wearing my shirt, they're smiling, God got them, whatever. So it's like it's just putting out good content, man, and then people they kind of just attached to it now. So we blessed, man.
Yeah. No, I it's been cool to see the random ads. Like, oh man, it's cool. It's like, okay, they're spending some money, which you need to do for your when you're growing a brand.
Yep.
I'm just trying to figure out if I can get like my picture on the website. Like I got a picture, me with with the hoodie on. I think I got all the letters. I don't know. I'm just trying to, it'd be nice to see my face on the website or something.
You coming, bro?
Something.
You coming, bro? I told you on the next wave, man. It was a method to my madness. Why I stopped promotions, just to kind of catch up. And I'm just about there from the Black Friday weekend, so I got you on the next wave, man.
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Scout's honor, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this like piece of it, the sort of the business piece, any like words of advice for anybody that's trying to navigate, trying to determine if they should wait? They got this idea, they're still working their 9 to 5, and they're trying to figure out what's next. Like, what advice would you give to somebody that was in a similar situation years ago before you jumped out there and started your venture?
Number one advice back is just do it, brother. Just jump. I think it's a Steve Harvey. I think he had like a inspirational talk. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'll send it to you. And he said, he used to be homeless, sleeping in his car, man. And one day he just went for it. I think he had like a comedy set. He did like an open mic night comedy. And so he talks about just jumping, man, and you never know where that dream could take you. So, and what may sound silly to someone else, here's my next piece. Actually, this should have been first. Put God first in everything you do.
Yeah.
Because with God, all things are possible. So, your idea may seem silly to some, and even to yourself at first, but take baby steps, man. You got to build. Rome wasn't built in a night. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I got all these quotes back. I got them kind of embedded in my head, man. So when I'm up late at night, pressing shirts, packaging, when I'm tired, it's all a part of the process, man, because I know it's not going to be that way forever. I know I'm going to have a big team. where I can have them doing the work, when I'm kind of just managing. So I'm just embracing the process, man, because Corn and I, we really built this thing from the ground up. So it's kind of cool to see how far we've come, in these, 4 or 5 months already. It's like I'm so excited to see what 4 or 5 years is gonna do, man. So yeah, I would say, man, just trust God, and just do it. Just do it. And you don't have to quit your job right away, Back. I don't think I said this. I know I said it off the record, but I'm still working a 9 to 5 too. So if you want it that bad, you'll find the time to do it, right? It's prioritizing. So I do my 9 to 5, and then I'm a husband and father even before that. So after work, it's family time. Dinner with my wife and my son. Play with my son, read to him. Once he's off the bed, quality time with the wife. It might be midnight, but I still got to put. If I can do 8 hours with corporate America, I can still, I'm still fairly young. I can sacrifice a little sleep, so I can at least take 2 hours and work on my business.
Yeah.
So just find a way, man.
That's like, it's like, people talk about investments and, paying yourself first. When you have a venture, you got to have time. You got to put time. You got to pay yourself with your time, right?
That's it, Back.
Maybe our most valuable resource, right?
Yeah, absolutely.